it is your boy is Nefarious, and we are here with the league report, week 8 league report. This may be your least favorite based on what guest I have on today. It is the master of all trolls, the king of trolling. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
I love the intro. I love it. What is up, everybody? It's Vikings user HD. Glad to sort of be here.
I love how you break out the late night voice on that. It sounded like I was listening to soft jazz for a second. Um, so you're one of my guys. A lot of guys definitely get triggered with your trolling, but I find it in all the fun and games that you play. It is funny to me. We're gonna so you've watched League Reports. I know you've watched League Reports. You're my #1 fan. I appreciate it. Much love. Um, we're gonna deep dive into your team first. I usually do this towards the end, but the first thing we're gonna do is deep dive into your team, and really, I wanna know basically how you look at a team and how you want to build a team. Do you want a big, strong team? Do you want a uber athletic team? You've watched the videos. You've seen how guys really break it down. And then I'll ask some questions on your roster about certain positions, like if you have a situation coming up or a kind of a log jam, I'll mention it. Um,
Okay.
Go ahead and break down your offense for me, and then whatever questions I have, I'll ask at the end.
All right. Well, what are you looking at? Are you looking at my actual depth chart, or are you looking at what exactly do you want right now? How things are lined up, or
Well, right now I'm looking at your roster. So I'm just
okay,
basically going off your roster, how you build your roster and things like that.
okay, how I
Not,
build it?
yeah, what do you
Okay.
want as out of your quarterback? What do you want out of your running back? Um,
Basically, how I got to where I am right now with this crazy
yeah,
roster
what,
that I didn't have last season.
yeah, when you built this MUT roster, how did you envision it?
All right. Well, I want to. Let's see. I think kind of started last season when I joined a little bit. I feel like the Vikings are kind of old, so I like to get rid of the old. Years. Just I don't know why. It's just always been a thing. Guys are getting 4 contract years. If I know I'm not bringing you back, you're getting traded. Um, I like to bring a new young meat. That's what we'll call it. Starting with Kirk Cousins, he had to go. He was definitely overpaid. He had to go.
hmm
Thought maybe Jalen Hurts could help me out a bit. I expected him to be better when I drafted him, but clearly my logic and NCAA plus 13's logic way off because I think Jalen should have been a little higher than 71 considering what he did as the starter for Alabama and as the backup when Tua got hurt or when Tua would come out of the game. I thought he played really well. Getting them to the he had to do it both of them. Getting him there the first year, then the second year when Tua got hurt, he got the wins that got them there. So again, I thought Hurts was going to be able to be that guy that I can use and actually keep. But when I got him and him having a bad development and a bad overall, that's I kind of just stuck it out and see what I could do during the last draft we just had.
Yeah, you're talking about Hurts, and uh, last season you were in love with Hurts. I mean, there's a lot to love with Hurts. Good speed, pretty good throw power. It's not like he's got a noodle arm. Very good throw
Mm-hmm.
on the run. The throw
It
under
was
pressure.
mostly his accuracy that was
Yeah, his accuracy takes a big hit. He does have a way better play action than Josh Jackson. And I'm trying to look at his running ability, and not really. Josh Jackson definitely has a better running ability than Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts is not a bad project piece if you like your mobile quarterbacks. But
I
J
think if I would have started content last season, I think I would have gotten Jalen pretty developed, to be honest.
yeah, a point here and there definitely go a long way, especially when you're doing it for deep accuracy, medium accuracy. I mean, the short accuracy is good enough where you don't even have to spend any content for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's all based on performance too. If you're able to perform well in the game and get those upgrade points, then you know that goes a long way. Um, you were talking about the age of your team. Now you got a very young team. Um, the thing is, when you did take over the Minnesota Vikings, they were a little older. Maybe the clean out of the age difference was a little rushed instead of slowly developed. Like realistically slowly developed. Maybe you just like, you know what? Let's get to the point. I want these guys gone because I want to get a lot younger than what I am now and have a lot of fun development kind of guys
Mm-hmm.
in my on my roster, which it does. You know, playing sports games my whole life, you always want the young superstar that's going to be good in
Yeah,
five
the
years
young
instead of the
studs.
guy that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
that is good now and is in the prime of his career. It's just how everybody
Well,
thinks, especially if
yeah.
you're a team builder.
I I think that's of more of how I am. That's how I always been. As I say all the time in chat, I'm obviously a huge Browns fan. So when I get Madden and I'm doing my franchises, I'm picking the Browns. I'm rebuilding the Browns every year. For the past, I didn't really get into franchise religiously until like maybe Madden 10 is when I started getting like serious in the franchise. Before that was like super mode when it was actually fun. But I think it's I think the team would be okay if we weren't playing this season and maybe one more, or maybe or plus one and then maybe another. So maybe another 2 3 seasons. I think if I would have done this year halfway through year one and going into two, I'd feel a lot better about it. But at this point, I was talking when JT just messaged me a couple of minutes ago. I told him I was like, I'm just at this point, I'm just having fun. We're getting towards the end. I'm trying to keep this thing going. I'm trying not to lose interest in Madden, which has actually been, for some reason, pretty hard this year. I'm actually really enjoying it still. Um, Big parts definitely PML because it's my only league I'm in right now. Um, I
And
think if this would have been my team year two, I think everybody would have a different view on my team than what they do now.
yeah, you kind of join late, so you kind of rush into it because we're towards the end of Madden, so you kind of rush into your team build instead of letting it gradually build over time. And I'm glad that I'm able to keep you interested in Madden High because I bring that great content and I bring the light into your life. I understand that.
Exactly it. That's
Um,
exactly it.
yeah, so I mean, you still get a pretty decent roster. The running back, big pickup was Josh Jacobs. I was actually
Yes.
looking at Josh Jacobs last season because I was looking for that elusive home run type running back to
Mm-hmm.
complement Najee Harris, and Josh Jacobs was on the list. So how'd you run into Josh Jacobs, and what kind of led you down that path?
His school, 100%.
What was it? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
His school.
Oh, his school actually what interested
Mm-hmm.
you in him.
Which is exactly why I was hitting you up for Najee Harris earlier this season. I would have loved to go. I would have loved to put them back together in the backfield. Um, which is that I tried to get him from you, and then with before I thought about the rules and everything with the trading, I actually hit up Dolphins and tried to get Tua so I can get all three of them back together. And Josh Jacobs, I at the time, I had Sony Michelle. I think this was after the Sony trade, or at the same time it happened. I I seen Sony had like 90 speed. He's got 88 trucking, so he's kind of got balance back. He's got some speed, also with some power. But I also wanted a guy that was just straight speed. So if I needed to get an outside run or something, I'd throw him in there, just pitch it, um, just give him the stretch or whatever. And also, I know he's more of a receiving back as well. So I'll have Sony with the power runs up the middle, short yardage, whatever, and then I got Jacobs for passing and or receiving, and then whenever I need some speed, maybe for a mismatch with the linebacker covering the halfback. But I kind of want to use him as a 1-2, but Michelle doesn't see the field as much. I think I like the way Josh is playing right now, and until something changes, he's probably going to stay in. I do have Michelle as my power back in my depth chart, so he'll come in when the power plays come in, but
Hmm.
manually you won't see me change it. He's just going to pop when he pops in. I'm really enjoying Josh Jacobs right now.
And there's no doubt you could have fun with Josh Jacobs, the 96 speed. I mean, his spin's key, and it's not too high, but 81's not bad, and 84 juke's not bad. With the 82 elusiveness, definitely
And
has.
I've been upgrading his elusiveness with my content, and I upgraded his trucking 5 times already with my
Yeah,
content, so
and
that's why it's a 78.
yeah, that'll go a long way, um, and really help you break out a few runs that those 10-yard runs will now become 20-yard runs once you're able to
Mm-hmm.
get that up a little bit, and some of them will, instead of a 10-yard run, it's going to be a home run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, let's take a look at your wide receivers. You got a shit ton. Why do you have so many wide receivers on your roster right now?
I want to say I'm gonna
Because
go
you're
through the
stupid?
depth chart.
No.
No. All right, so I'm looking at this for my depth chart because I know you're looking at my roster. So I want to say I have two guys. I think one. All right, so one guy I'm releasing. So I think that's going to be Kelvin Harmon. He's going to get released. Um, Jalen Reeder is actually on the move. I'll let you guys figure that out when it happens. So right now, after everything's said and done, going into week 9, I have Diggs at 1, Metcalf at 2, with Slayton at the 3, and I have Diggs in the slot, I believe. And then I'm going to have Pittman as the 4, and Shumway as the 5, and Callaway's kind of just sitting on the bench till an injury happens. But I didn't like Adam Thielen too much. I know he's a great possession receiver, but he's getting old, and I actually didn't trade him or anything. I actually let him walk. I wasn't going to pay him, and I also didn't want to release him because I know he still had some juice. But I just wasn't paying what he was asking for. He got me messed up. So a lot of these guys just have low awareness. That's why their overalls are trash. But I look at my receivers strictly on like route running and catching, and then speed. So like DK is my slowest with 87, but he's also an animal. So that's the only reason I got him. But everybody else, they're pretty decent. No one does me wrong. No one's got a lot of drops for no reason. Um, the route running, I think route running's a little overrated to be honest, because I feel like all these guys run the routes the same way. So I just speed, agility, and catching is mostly what I look at.
Yeah, route running's a tough one to gauge. I think there is situations where you could maybe see a little more separation from a good route runner compared to an average route runner. Maybe that's the little difference. But if you could catch in traffic and you got good catching ability, I don't think there's much of a difference when it comes to a low end route runner and a high end route runner. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's pretty much it for offense. Let's talk about your defense. What do you run, and yeah, just basically what do you run, and how do you feel about your defense?
Well, first things first, I can't believe you just completely disrespected the German God at
I
tight
am
end.
not gonna talk
Just
about that tight end. I am not.
dude. All right, fine. We don't have to talk about him. We'll call Lyons and see how he feels about him. All right, going to the defense. um,
All right, you
I
wanna
actually
hold on? You wanna talk about your tight end? Hold on. I got a question. Why does your tight end have 39 run blocking?
I- Listen, that don't matter because he's catching touchdowns. Okay.
Oh, all right, all right, all right. We'll
All
skip
right,
that.
we're gonna ignore that right there.
All right, let's go.
Dude, honestly, compared to last year, I think my tight end. Let me check this out real quick. Where's he at? Yeah, he's not having the season he did last year. Dude, through 6 games, he had like 50 catches for like 500 yards. He's only got like 12 catches for 203 touchdowns. But it is what it is. My passing game's a little on the slow side right now. But we could go to the defensive side like you want to. Running defensive wise, I actually kind of run. I run. I I run. Whose defense? I run the Lions defense. So Matt Patricia. So I have that because they have the 3-4 and the 4-3.
Mhm.
So I like to have them both, and they have 2 or 3 nickel positions that I really like, and then I don't go too much into the 3 down linemen, 4 corners, and then all 5 corner like quarters and nickel and stuff, just for the simple fact that people love to run in this league. So unless it's like an obvious passing down, like it's 3rd and 18, all right, I'll come out in quarters. But if it's like 3rd and 8, I'm coming out in probably nickel or big nickel, just for the fact that people love to run and they're really good at it in this.
Yeah, you got a lot of good uses when it comes to running the ball. That's pretty much what separates the high end guys compared to the tier A guys to the tier B guys. They just got
Yeah,
that
I
extra.
know. Last season, Natural was being kind of a smart ass because I said somebody when I was playing somebody and they were spamming something and I mentioned it in chat, and Natural's like, oh well, wouldn't you hate if your opponent always came out in the nickel? Because I wouldn't come out in anything bigger than the nickel because I'm trying to defend the run and the pass. Like if it's obvious, sure, I'll get out of it, but if it's like medium area, I'll probably be in some sort of nickel. And he said something about it, and I'm just like, I got to protect my defense. I know my run defense is atrocious. Like I'll have my games that it's pretty good, but most of the time it's pretty bad, and I'm trying to stay on top of it so that
Hmm.
dude, if you let somebody run the ball on you, it's game over.
Yeah, exactly. If they're able to control the clock and everything, then it is game over. So you run a multiple, so 3-4 and 4-3. Um,
Yes.
I remember I did a team breakdown on you, and the ends were more of a 4-3 fit. And I'm when you run a 3-4, do you still keep those ends at the end position, or do you sub them
Yep,
out
I
for?
leave. I leave. But everybody in their spots. The only subs I did was in nickels and quarters, where I took out. Um, I have Malik Reed.
Hmm.
Um, Malik Reed was in one of those, and I started taking him out so I could put in Clay Matthews because he's more of an actual pass rusher than Malik Reed is. Um, but Clay only comes in every once in a while. But for the most part, the 3-4 I'll use like certain times. I couldn't even tell you when. It's kind of just like in the game when I call it. But for the most part, Montez isn't having a terrible season. Montez Sweat at the right end. He's got I think 3 sacks, but like when my guys their stats are low, but they get them when it matters. So he might have
Hmm.
3 sacks, but those 3 sacks I literally remember off the top of my head they were at like key moments. So
Yep.
for me that's still huge. He still has 6 tackles for loss. So I mean he's getting pressure. I know that like a lot of guys get back there, but a lot of guys in PML are really good at getting rid of the ball quick. So it's kind of just more of a pressure thing. But him and where's I'm trying to see where my other end is. I lost him. Anderson, ain't it? Okay, Anderson actually doesn't have any sacks. I think for a star dev, I can't remember if I have him in the focus for training, but I think I'm gonna start working on him just for the fact that he's kind of kind of having a rough season, I guess. Only he's got no sacks. He's got one tackle for loss, no tackle or six tackles. So, but my guys rotate a lot. I'm not. Like you said, he's not probably not even supposed to be there, but and him Sweat, Reed at outside linebacker, and Riddick, who just came back off injury at outside linebacker, play Matthews. They all get pressure. And
Hmm.
Saxon out there forcing interceptions. So I'm okay with that. You get people to force quick. They make bad
Bad
decisions. You pick
reads.
it
Yeah.
off. Then there you go.
Yeah, exactly. They'll make bad reads as long as you're able to get in their face.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of, the defensive line and the run game, you signed Snacks. How was that signing so far? Has he provided a good stability in the middle of that line?
Yeah. All right. He only has 13 tackles for a loss, or 13 tackles, five for a loss. Got no sacks. But as a D tackle, I kind of in this league for sure. I do not expect him. I do not expect him to get a lot of tackles. Maybe a couple behind the line. Sure, that's why half of his tackles are for loss. But I don't really see too many PML guys running up the middle at all. Like maybe every once in a while they will, but the most I've ever seen a run up the middle is people running QB sneak on the goal line. A lot of people like to run outside because they got speedy guys in these draft classes that we had, which I think we've all agreed we should tone it down a bit with the speed because it is getting a little out of hand.
Yeah,
I think guys just like getting outside.
I'm one of the front runners on that. I think that the speed has become a little ridiculous. Like, not I'm not saying like it's cheese or anything. It's just
Oh no,
it seems like speed it was a couple ticks higher than it should have been for some of these
mm-hmm.
guys. Because you got guys like Tavon Austin, who's in the NFL, who would you say is pretty damn fast.
Yeah,
But I think he got it like a 92 or a 93 speed rating. Um, for the game, I don't know what his base speed rating was. So it seems like these guys coming out of college are a lot faster than the guys that are already in the NFL. Like
yeah,
Tyreek Hill is just an animal. That's why he has that 98 speed. He's the fastest guy in the league, but you don't come across that speed as often. Like
right.
Terry McLaurin, if we're thinking about Madden 20, maybe he's a 95 or a 96 speed. Um, Actually, I don't know what he ran in real life, but you know what I'm saying. I think they kind
Right.
of handed out speed a little too much to most of these guys. And speaking
Yeah.
of, I got your middle linebackers up here, and you got 89 speed, 6'3" linebacker, and then you got an 88 speed, 6'4" linebacker.
He was, in fact, the fastest linebacker in the draft.
Etheridge or Warner?
Etheridge, considering Etheridge is higher than Warner. Just
Oh, yes. Okay, you're
saying.
saying the actual speed. I thought you
Yeah,
meant the
yeah. His
40 time.
actual no, his speed. He was the fastest linebacker in the draft, and I think I got him at pick 9. I just traded Anthony Barr. Um, just traded Anthony Barr last season. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, he's the greatest user in the game." Blah blah blah. Well, guess what? He just I'm pretty sure he's like 29 or something. He's getting up there in age, and I want to say it might have been his contract year, and I was in the works with a trade. I sent him to Miami. So yes, I lost his speed, but I also gained Jerome Baker, who has 88 speed. He's a 69 overall, but I think I had like just under 10 interceptions with him. I think because I think as a middle linebacker, it don't matter who you have. If you can user him, that's literally that player is you.
Yeah.
So when when I got Jerome Baker, I go, he's a 69. First of all, he's just gonna be cheap. Like those guys are just gonna be cheap off rip. He's got decent agility. He's fast. He can excel. He He's a little low on hit power, but I also wanted him because he he actually went to a school that I grew up at, for high school. So I kind of
Oh,
wanted to
really?
include him. Yeah, he went to Benedictine High School, and then went there, which is in Cleveland, and then went to Ohio State, and then got drafted down
Oh, wow. That's a cool little story there. Um, that's pretty interesting. To have somebody so close to home that got drafted. I know there was a guy that got drafted. That actually went to a high school that's near me. I'm forgetting. I think it was Todman, Jordan Todman. I think it is the running back, a small running back.
there. Okay.
I think it's Jordan Todman. He was kind of a return specialist. After a while, he wasn't really a running back per se. They didn't really use him on offense. Just pretty much a return specialist. But he went to a school that was pretty close to home. Um, Now let's take a look at your corners. You were talking about age and getting rid of age. You got Xavier Rhodes, who's now he's still pretty good at an 86 overall, but he's 31. So
Um,
yeah, you're
his
def.
I want to keep going. I'm gonna look up his contract real quick.
Yeah, so he's up there in age, and you know, it looks like you definitely need something there as far as something for the future. I mean, you got somebody that's 26 and 27, not too bad on the overalls, so they're like good bridge guys, but it doesn't seem like you have that guy to come up and be that number one corner on the roster at the moment and in the future.
I have been when I have the time besides my highlight video. Um I have updated. I want to say Conley a couple times doing his I want to say his zone, whichever one, his zone or his man were lower, so I was just upping the other one. His 92 speed, 91 excel, and 89. Yeah, I feel like it was pretty. It's all right, but well, when Xavier Rhodes missed 6 weeks, and during those 6 weeks, Conley was at one, and wasn't he wasn't exactly doing the greatest. He's got 3 interceptions. He's got 3 tackles for loss. Got 2 sacks. Um, so I mean, he wasn't terrible during those 6 games. He was usable, but Tankersley was actually a lot better than him. Um, I actually moved Tankersley into number one cornerback when Xavier Rhodes came back, and you mentioned he's old and why do I still have him? Um, it looks like I want to say it looks like he's still on a real life contract unless who had him before me? Mole, right? That was the Viking user.
Yeah.
He unless he re-signed him to a 5 year deal. Um, I don't know exactly when his deal was. I know he's got 2 years left though. So, but before the off season, Xavier was six year length. He's got two left. So he he wasn't an 86 until I think we went into the new year. He just recently regressed, but he was still like a 92. He literally dropped 6 overalls during the offseason.
Yeah,
So
that's a tough hit right there.
it came out of nowhere because I'm like, all right, Xavier Rhodes, I'm set. He's gonna be a 90 overall going into his 30, going at age 31, going into what is his 8th year. So I was like, I'm pretty set for a while. And then we advanced, and I was just like, oh my god, I am in trouble. Um, so thankfully, I picked up Conley and Tankersley. I just made another trade with somebody for some depth there. It I want to say it helps me at corner, but kind of hurts me somewhere else. But I think I have an idea to make it work. I plan on drafting a corner this draft. I just don't know when, and I honestly don't know. I haven't done too much drafting or scouting because last time I scouted, uh, JT actually went there and edited some things, and it actually reset all of my scouting points.
Oh
So
man.
I'm afraid of going in there, doing all of it, and then going back to it the next week and it's all gone. Because I know he's got to go back and do likeness and everything for everybody. So I'm gonna wait a little later in the year. I'm only gonna scout positions if need. Um, I'm not gonna waste all those points on like looking for running backs or
Hmm.
quarterbacks or something because I feel comfortable with where I'm at with that. Maybe a wide receiver. Um, maybe Diggs time's up soon. He's 27. He's still 94. I can probably get a lot for him right now actually. He still has like 94 speed or something like that. So he's got some pretty good value. I've actually contemplated this season of trading him. Um, I I never meant. I think I mentioned it once in chat a couple of weeks ago that I might move him, but nobody bid, so I kind of sat on him. But I'm living right now. We're gonna see where this goes.
Yeah, Diggs
So
is solid,
if
solid.
anyone's watching, hit me up. Give me an offer
Yeah.
this offseason.
Well, before this advance, hit up Colts because he's been dying for a receiver. Um, let's go ahead and let's see here. Let's go ahead and what I want to do now is we're gonna jump into the standings of each division. I want you to give me your division winner and then give me the runner up. Not your troll winner or your troll runner up. Let's try
Correct.
to keep
Correct.
an actual prediction here. So we'll start with the AFC North. Obviously, we know who the division winner is going to be. I don't think anybody's catching him. Who do you think is going to be the runner up here?
Um, I thought it was a sure thing going to be Cleveland. Um, I actually thought the Browns were going to go 13-3. He already failed me. Got 4 losses already. He's making the Browns look like the 2016 Browns again. I feel like natural. I feel like Bengals can actually sneak up the way Browns has been playing recently. He he almost lost to the Bears. The Bears are 0-8. He lost to the Lions. Um, was that by 2 possessions? I think it was. So it was honestly a pretty convincing loss. Like that actually kind of shook me. Like I was kind of nervous to play the Lions until we actually started playing, and I was like, "What am I scared for?" And then he just lost to somebody else too. He just lost to the Chiefs yesterday. So he's iffy. And trading Baker, I don't know what he's doing over. I don't know what he's doing in Cleveland, but someone needs to help him because even if you are trading Baker, why are you sitting him? Because you're hurting your own chances.
Yeah, you might
Whether
as well just
it's
keep playing him. If even if you're
yeah,
trading him, just
trade him
keep
until
playing
you
him.
move him
Yeah,
because you're hurting yourself. Maybe you want to just take Jacoby Brissett, but that's something you need to do when you're what will he be 6-2, 6-1 instead of 4-4 if you kept playing Baker. So he could be sitting at a different standing, and say he doesn't move Baker, then you keep his momentum and his confidence up because you're winning games. So I think in the end Browns is gonna win, but I think Bengals gonna give him a scare.
yeah, I think that's going to be a closer race than usual because of how Browns is kind of imploding right now. Let's go ahead and hit up the AFC South. Texans is usually the favorite here. He's in the middle of moving. Who knows when he'll be back? He'll probably have 6 losses, and I could see him winning out and going 10-6. But who knows if he shows up in time? Who do you see winning the division, and who do you see ended up being the runner-up here?
Just so you know, I seen in chat that Texans should be back this week. Actually, this should be his last advance that he misses. And Seahawks is looking for him in chat, so I feel like that's who he plays next. um, I think just while we're talking about Texans, play for next year. Like, just focus on whoever you're gonna develop. Play the guys you want to focus on. Don't worry about playing the best guys to win. Colts is playing pretty well this year, so you're not going to win the division. And second place is that's not guaranteed wild card or playoff. Play for next season, play for development. Just
Hmm.
off rip, that needs to be done. Like I said, Colts is rolling. I think Colts will finish. Um, Not sure why he's looking. Do you know why he's looking for a receiver? What happened to Ty? Ty got used. Ty
Um,
hurt.
I don't know. Maybe he's just not feeling his receivers that he has right now.
Okay.
Um, I looked at his receiving core. It's not too bad, but maybe he wants that number one wide receiver to really take him to the next level as far as his passing game.
Okay. Um, but yeah, for sure, Colts is gonna. I don't know how he pulled this off, but he traded Andrew Luck for Pat Mahomes. Good for him. Good. Like he had a rough start. Maybe Pat Mahomes is different to use because I use Andrew Luck. I actually love Madden Andrew Luck. He just gets hurt a lot, so it's kind of steers me away from him. But Colts is definitely gonna win it, and I think last year Titans was pretty good, and so was Jaguars. But this year it looks like they both kind of fell off. And Jaguars was all about Torres, and now it's about somebody else. So it sounds like they're having a little bit of a quarterback problem. Um, I think standings will stay how they are in this division unless Texans decide he wants to try and win out. If that's the case, I could definitely see Texans jumping up to two.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If he really plays, then I could see him jumping all the way up to two, and I see the Colts taking that division. All right, so your favorite division with your favorite user, you're the number one fan of this team, and you love talking to the guy. You just love this guy. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
Bills is
wonder.
pretty cool.
Yeah, Bills is really cool. So the AFC East, how do you feel? Who's gonna take it, and who's gonna be the runner-up? Especially with the Bills shitting himself this season.
I know last year didn't Bills win like 13-3 last year or something like that. So
Hmm.
I'm not. I think Bills is. I think we all know Bills is going to win the. Bills is very good. His passing game is amazing. It's probably one of the better ones in the league. But Jets started off really strong, and then he kind of fell off a little bit. You've had your good games. I think I'm going to give you a little
Don't
credit.
make you're not gonna make your prediction just because you're on my show. You don't have to show me love. You could say I'm gonna
No, that's
finish
not the case.
last in the division.
No, I
Just I
actually think off the top of my head, I'm gonna go Bills, Patriots, Jets. The Dolphins already won more games than I thought they were going to. If you read my predictions, so good for them. I think I think it'll between you and Jets. I have to watch more film on the Jets, and I have to pay attention to them a little more because I haven't been. But I know how you and Bills are. So just off the top of my head, I'm gonna say Bills and then you. Again, Jets is just a team you got to watch for. You're all 4-3 as of right now. This could go any way, but based on
Mhm.
skill, I'm gonna put Bills a little bit of Jets and see how it turns out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tight race over there. As long as I continue to play, and once I figure out how to play against the top tier opponents, because I play a good game against everybody else, and then just when I get against those guys that are in the top tier, it's just like I shit myself. But let's move on to the AFC West. We got the Chiefs, Finn, who's woken up from his slumber of last season and has been performing really well. Partly thanks to the nice little toy he got from the Minnesota Vikings, Dalvin Cook. So, how do you
Mm-hmm.
feel about this division? It's kind of obvious that the Chiefs are going to take it. Who do you see as the runner-up here?
Well, I thought without looking at record, I actually thought the Chargers were a lot better than they were. I actually thought they were above 500 because I actually played him in the preseason, and he wasn't bad. I don't know if he was just playing it for the XP or what, but I thought he played pretty well. We didn't really get to play a true game because I was on vacation. I was at my mom's, so the game was pretty laggy. I told him that ahead of time, so maybe that's why the game was like that. But um, Chargers and Broncos. I think the Broncos are playing pretty good actually. Um, I'll give it to Broncos, but I want to watch more on Chargers too. This is a division I don't keep my eye on because Finn literally has it blown out of the water. It's not like the AFC North where yeah, Natural's gonna win, but maybe Browns can sneak up there if Ravens gets a cheap
Hmm.
loss. But like this division, it's I tell Finn every day his division's a cakewalk. He does not have to worry about a single thing.
Yeah, Chargers is an interesting one because he's played well, especially against guys like Browns, and he's had some good games, some bad games. The Broncos too is he's been a question mark. I mean, he's had some good wins and then some. It's tough to call here. I agree on that. So we'll see how that race comes out. I think the Chargers would end up in second. Let's move on to your division. I'm gonna hear you say that you believe you'll win the division, and I'll actually believe you based on how it's going so far. But who do you see as your runner-up?
Um, I I'm actually just gonna give it to the Lions just because where's the Packers? Where are they? Packers, I'm calling out to you. I already played our game, but still, that was pretty garbage of you to do today and yesterday, just saying half the twice in one advance. But I'm gonna just because Packers is MIA and he's played I think 2 games, 3 games this season. Against Seahawks 40 or yeah, I think like Seahawks 49ers and Ravens. Why'd you play those 3 games out of all games?
Hmm.
um, but the Lions, we all saw what Lions is capable of. He's a pretty good, he's like a Madden god. He's really good. Um, we just played. Um, we actually had a really good game. He was actually up by like 13 on me, and then I came back and started trading blows. But I think Lions will definitely take second just from the inactivity of the Packers. Last season, us three were all neck and neck until about like week 14 where I dropped down just because Hurts was hurting me so much. I kind of just lost interest in the season. I was in a decent spot to win the division, but even in the playoffs, I just really didn't want to play with Hurts, and I didn't have anyone else to play with. So I was like, I'd rather just play casual, let these guys be competitive, and either I win or I lose. Regardless, it's not going to hurt my feelings what happens. But with myself, I have a pretty, I got a pretty decent second half of the season. I play the Rams next. He was playing well before he mysteriously lost his PlayStation. I play
Hmm.
him Steelers usually. I'll be his second game. We'll see how good he is. And then I gotta play the Lions again. Ravens, Cardinals, Bears, or Browns, Eagles, 49ers, and then the Bears.
Oh
So
my.
I play what, one, two, three, four of the top teams, and then five would be Lions. He's pretty decent. So I well, I mean, last year I started off I think 4-1, 4-2. So I'm not saying this spot's for sure mine. I do think I'll win it, but I can also very well see myself slipping a little bit just from the fact that I got to play 4 opponents in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I personally was never a real believer in the Packers. I just think he was undefeated in season one, season two, but I was never a believer of it because I think he just had a cakewalk for it. He's got a little bit of competition, and he's kind of lost a little more interest every season as he's lost more and more games. So we'll see how he,
Yeah,
he how
I
he
actually remember joining and you guys saying that Packers was actually really good and that how he did go undefeated and how he was actually like gonna roll over me and stuff. But I beat him twice last year, and he wasn't bad. As soon as he traded Aaron Rodgers, I knew it was downhill from there.
yeah, he's like I said, he's not terrible, but he definitely benefited from a super weak division. I think he had a couple forced ones as well. Let's go ahead and move on to the NFC South. Um, we got the Bucks, who is the clear favorite. I think everybody knows he'll take the division. He's like the Ravens, the Seahawks,
Mm-hmm.
and you know those top tier guys where they're gonna end up in first place, and then everybody else is gonna be battling for the second slot. Who do you see coming out on in the second slot in this division?
Yeah, obviously the Packers are number one. I think I had him going undefeated in my predictions, but it looks like week five the Saints snuck one out, and it looks like this is the only win for the Saints. I think I don't know. JT, I played him last season. We actually had a really good game. Like I only won by a couple points. It was a one
Hmm.
possession game. Um, I thought JT was actually pretty good. I don't know what happened this season. I don't know if he's moved on from anybody or what's going on with him, but I see he's slipping a bit. So I'm actually going to give this to Faku, and I'm going to give them the edge over the Panthers. I think the Saints are done.
All right, yeah, I could definitely agree with that. Um, Saints, I think has checked out. He said he was down with finals. Um, and
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said he was dealing with finals quotation marks. Nah, I'm just joking. He's definitely in school, so who knows what he's been dealing with there. So I think he's chalking up this season as a loss, and hopefully, I mean, he does play out the rest of the season and try to be competitive. But if not,
Yeah, hey,
Matt.
Falcons could slip and he could. Cause I know Saints is pretty good. Falcons could slip and he could sneak up there.
Yeah, that is true. If he wins out, believe me, going 11-5 could definitely get you in the playoffs. So, I mean, if you want to try to win out. Let's talk about the NFC East. We got the Eagles. This is a tight race with the Eagles, the Cowboys,
Mm-hmm.
and when we used to have the Giants user, he was always up there. So this was one of the tougher divisions. Who do you see coming out on top, and who do you see being the runner-up in this division?
Um, I know. Actually, I don't think the Eagles played yet, so I'm not sure. This will take 2 seconds. I'm gonna see who he plays. He plays the Buccaneers. Um, I don't know if they're playing it or not because JT asked if they were sending it and no one answered. Um, I'm, if they play it, I think Buccaneers will win. So I'm gonna say Cowboys has the better win percentage. Just I'm gonna give it to Cowboys at the end of the day. Just the dude went 1-4, bounced back to 12-4, and won the Super Bowl. So I
Hmm.
just that division is the Cowboys based off that alone. We know what he can do. He won 11 straight playoff, and then the playoffs, and then he won the Super Bowl against Natural.
Yes, it was Natural. Natural's been
I'm
in
gonna
every
give him
Super
that.
Bowl.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. So I'm gonna. I really wish I was saying the Redskins were taking second just because they took Davis Mills before I could, who, by the way, statistically is a beast. The Redskins, no offense to Redskins, but he ruined Davis Mills. Like that was the ratio is terrible. Um, they don't have a winner that he took Davis Mills before I could.
Yeah, that was one of your
I
guys. I
was in
remember
the
you
draft
talking.
group chat a bit about how good he was. So I'll give him second. I actually played him week 15, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. For not not just because, but just to see how good he like really is based upon myself. Because I mean, like you said, like we talked about, Packers went undefeated 2 seasons, and now he's 2-6, 1-6, whatever the hell he is. So I want to play myself. I like playing the top guys. Like how next Madden you want to be in a league with those top guys. I like playing the top guys to test where I am and see what I could do better.
Yeah, I wanna not necessarily to test where I am, but I want just to get. I look at it as a way to get better. Um, I I don't know how everybody learns different. My way of learning is watching and picking up tips and tricks just by watching what other people do. So
Hmm.
maybe playing them a couple times a season would help me, take my game to the next level. You know what I mean? Um, let's go ahead and move on to the NFC West. The surprise San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle
Big surprise.
Seahawks. These two are going to battle it out for the number one slot, and
I'm
one's
giving
gonna
it to the 49ers off rip.
you're gonna give it to the 49ers,
Yep.
and then
I'm pretty impressed by him, even though his both these teams, uh, they're turning over the ball a lot, but they're winning big for some reason. I don't know how they do it. They both, I'm pretty sure they both had more interceptions than me, and they both had more wins than me. So whatever, I don't know if I know Seahawks can run the ball. I don't know if 49ers can, but I'm gonna give it to 49ers. 49ers are actually gonna. I want to say he's gonna finish the season at 15-1.
yeah, he's been a surprise, and I think that one loss will probably be against the Seahawks. They might both end up 15-1 when it's all said and done.
I actually have his loss coming week 16 to
Who's
the Vikings.
oh here, here we go. Here we
But
go. Uh,
realistically, I think the one loss could be the Seahawks, but I actually can't wait to play him either. I gotta play Eagles and then him. Like I'm actually really excited for the test.
yeah, it's gonna be a good test for you, and I mean. It'll be crazy to see these two teams would be 15-1. I mean, there's really no discussion for who's going to be second. Rams, thank you for coming. Cardinals, nice seeing you. But this is definitely either the 49ers or Seahawks. They're going to be 1-2. It's just figuring out who's going to be 1, who's going to be 2 in this division.
Yeah, I'm just I, after playing the Seahawks and I played actually really well. I lost by 9, including the garbage touchdown that kind of like just it wasn't like I kind of see it as like it wasn't necessary, but he got it, so I'll give it to him. So I lost by 9 to him, and then I see the 49ers beat him Bucks by I think 14. So it'll be a bit interesting. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a fun little test for you, a fun little measuring stick. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but
All
that's
in all,
gonna.
I think divisions are going to stay where they are right now because a lot of besides like two of them, a lot of these divisions I kind of called out how they looked like right now. Um, I think they're kind of we're halfway through the season. I think they're molded. I think most of them are molded besides the two or three that we talked about that are toss ups.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of got your number one guys who have been doing it season in and season out, still going strong in PML. It sucks that we lost somebody like the Giants user, that was, one
He
of the
was pretty
top.
good.
He was a top guy in here. After he lost Kyler Murray and got his butt kicked from the natural. Um, I don't know if there was outside stuff. There might have been, but that's kind of
Actually,
where.
he dipped out before the season. He dipped out like week 16. He didn't play
Yeah,
his playoff game.
yeah, he didn't play his playoff game or week 17. He dipped out early. But that's gonna do it for us today in the league report. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Yeah,
Even
this was
though,
fun. Glad we
uh,
can.
yeah, even though you know, I don't care what they say about you. You're not a bad kid. Don't worry about it. Papa is still proud of you.
I don't like that you called me a kid though.
No, I'm joking. Nah, it's
Yeah,
it's
it was fun. I enjoyed this. I like what we I like looking at the league and I like prioritizing franchises over a lot of things. This is definitely one of my favorite modes, definitely my favorite league. So I'm actually excited to see what they bring next season, both PML and Madden 20, because I know they're adding stuff. I I definitely we should definitely listen to them.
yeah. I'm definitely gonna have
See
you
what our
on.
predictions ended.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have you on again. I mean, it's not like everybody wants to be on. I do have people that want to jump on, so I have no problem filtering through guys, having more than one guy on, maybe asking different questions, asking about games and stuff like that. So there's gonna be plenty of content to talk about. Um, You've been a great guest. You've brought good energy. I appreciated the breakdown of your team and really how you built that. It kind of explains why you moved so many people and everything. It's kind of you kind of rushed your plan just because you joined in so late. It'll be nice to see you in Madden 20. Get on a team early and really slowly build your team instead of just trying to quickly get your pieces all together as soon as
Hmm.
possible.
Yeah,
Um,
I was actually really scared they'd start declining my trades just because I've had so many of them.
yeah, you
But
and me
now
both. I'm
next
not.
year,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna act.
we all know next year though that hoping I'm hoping I think JT okay, but I'm thinking he's going to give me the Browns. If that's the case, you guys will probably see either like old contract year guys or draft picks on the block, and that's probably I'll probably keep the Browns for a while.
Yeah, it's a little different when you get your favorite team too. You got you guys you fall in love with, um,
Mm-hmm.
and Uh, I'm definitely guilty of it. I mean, with the Patriots, I joined the Patriots and I lost Tom Brady, and I had a little bit of a meltdown not having Tom Brady and kind of sold a bunch of pieces off. I'm kind of disappointed in my own team build and how active I was with moving guys. I wish I would have controlled myself a little bit, and I'm looking forward
Mm-hmm.
to a fresh start with a new team and really controlling that and making little smart moves instead of the making all kinds of moves. You know what I mean? I don't think I've made a bad move so far, a really bad move so far. I just made so many that it's kind of unrealistic, and that's what I don't like about it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, it's a pleasure having you on. Thank you for breaking down your team. Thank you for going through the league with me and giving me your predictions as far as the division winner and runner up, and giving a little description of how you see that fall, how you see that falling in place. Like I said, you could come on whenever you want. Just be in my DMs like you are every day, and we'll discuss it. And thanks again for
Hey,
joining me today.
thank you,
It was a pleasure having you, brother.
thank you so much.
All right, my name's Is Nefarious. I'm out of here, and that is HD Lil T, and he is gonna be in the the PML chat trolling you in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1.